guys, I'm here with John Signey and my name's William Jones, and we're with Digital Impact Philippines. And I don't know if you've heard it, but we're going to be having a conference in Cebu, December 6th through the 8th, as you see upstairs at the Waterfront Hotel and Casino. So, and if you haven't got tickets, go to digitalimpactphilippines.com. We actually just launched our brand new website. And of course, we always want to thank our sponsors. And if you're looking for a sponsorship or you would like to sponsor the event and be at the event, or maybe you have a team, just hit us up. You can hit me up on social media or hit us up on Digital Impact Philippines.
Yep.
So, all right, guys, I'm going to go into some of the groups and share them and with the group and stuff and some of the groups before we actually get questions in. But if you have questions, go ahead and kind of start dropping them and just give me a few minutes here, John. And then most people don't know, it's like John is, I could tell a little story, but John, inside my story, if you've ever been on my social media, John is the guy. He's the man. He's the one that without him, like I say all the time, there would be no Rank Fortress. He's my boss. He's the guy that got me started in this craziness called running an agency in the Philippines. You know, right before COVID, I had about 4 clients. And I started going into Facebook groups, and I met this guy named John Signey, and he said he was looking for like a premium, like, basically an executive SEO for a USA company. And I messaged him, and he responded back, and then it's been history ever since. But he's also the same guy. When I say without him, there would be no Rank Fortress, is because besides him and my wife, he's the one that actually said, well, why don't you start your own agency? And he kind of pushed me into doing that. He didn't force me to, of course, but he told me, why don't you do it? And I was kind of like, I don't want to do it. But he told me you should do it. So we did it, and the rest is history.
The only reason why I said that, William, is because I saw a lot of talent in you, a lot of potential. You know, you have what it takes to do it. I just don't say that to anybody. If I see great potential, I believe in that person. They say, you've got it. You've got to start your own. You know,
yeah, there are days I wonder. There are days I wonder, though, John. I'm like, I don't know about this. Like, it's like, was it, that God, just don't ever ask him to give you patience, because if you ask him to give you patience, you're definitely going to be tested and you're going to go through some stuff. But some of the memes I see, for example,
right, if that's what you wanted, you'll get it.
Yeah, and then
through challenges and difficulties, and
a lot of times you pray. Like we were back then. I remember if we got and I jokingly say this now, but it's like, if we got the ability to go to the sorry store or the convenience store like in the US and get a Coke, that was like, oh my God, it was a big thing for us, because we were, poor. We were like rubbing pesos together. And I remember when we did the laundry shop, we would always sit around on the floor, because we'd take, the pesos and stuff and the small bills and put them in a jar, and then we dump the jar out and we'd all count it and stuff.
Yeah,
those were honestly the good days. What really builds up your character to find out what you're really about. And but yeah, it was because of John. And so now we have 80 plus staff almost, and then about 80 staff, and then 3-story or 2-story building on the house, 3-story. And we've had our ups and downs, like I know John talks about too. He talks about in his presentations too, because most of the people out there usually tell about all the blessings that they have, and as my wife said, be specific in what you ask for. Like if you back then, I remember it's like, we want clients, and I need work, and I need this, God, please give me work. But then a lot of times what happens is God starts opening up the doors of heaven. And like I tell people, it's like God owns not only the hills, but he owns all those golden taters in those hills, or potatoes in the hills, or camotes, or whatever you wish to call them. And but the thing is, whenever he starts loading your plate up, you can't start complaining, being, "Oh my God,
That's
I'm so
right.
tired. I can't take this no
No.
more." And then you kind of confused. You're telling God one thing and then saying another. So then He takes away from you, and then you're like, "Well, what happened?" I even tell the staff. I remember there's a where He talks about in the New Testament. He even mentions, for example, was, and you know this stuff, but that's why I mentioned it. It's like that God gives talents to different people, and He gives it to the one person, He hides it, gives it to another person, He multiplies it, and then the person that He hid it, He takes it from them and
Right.
gives it to the rich person. And that we would say nowadays, well, that's not just, that's not fair. Why would you
Right.
take it
Yeah.
from the poor person and give it to this person? You know, but yeah,
Well, that last person who had one talent and he dug a hole in the ground and just returned it after the master returned. He was paralyzed by fear
yeah,
because he never knew the master. He had no clue what the master is up to. What the master wants is for us to develop our talents. Whatever we have, we got to nurture them and be able to multiply so that we can, help others. So because he was so afraid to pull the trigger, he was reprimanded per se. But I love how you bring God into these, discussions, William. I really love that because in my personal, I would say conviction, this is like sort of a calling for me. I use all these sort of platforms, social media, digital impact, everywhere I go. If I get into the mic and get the opportunity to share one thing, this is it. I wanted to share to the world that there's hope and there's grace available through Christ. And I want to share that with all boldness. And I want to say because that's what the world needs. That's what Filipinos need. Um, they need forgiveness so they can get right with God. I wanted to use all sorts of any opportunity to be able to share God's love and forgiveness, and that grace is available. All glory to Him. So thanks for that. I appreciate that.
no, thank you. I appreciate you. Every time we talk about, most people would say,
Absolutely, yeah.
how's the Muslim and the Christian sit down together and talk? And it's definitely we have an ability, and I'm not perfect. And tell people all the time, I need God's grace.
Yeah,
If you want to look for skeletons, I can tell you everything I've been through. Because I tell people that's why I don't judge people. I can't judge people. Why could I
we
judge
can.
people when
Yeah.
He's been good to us? And it's like we were watching a
Right.
movie earlier, and it's like watching. It's like this guy. It's like he had a wife, for instance, and hey, Liza. He had a wife. She died in childbearing, and so now he's got to take care of a newborn and his 7-year old, and he then has a job. Then he has to take out money. It's like one thing after another. It's like, yep, there are lots of people that go through a lot worse. So, but yeah. So,
Wow.
what's some questions like, why Cebu? You're in Cebu and I'm in Surigao, so it's kind of like, why would we do, if you will, if you don't know what Digital Impact Philippines is, why did we start? Me and my wife started Digital Impact Philippines for, it's kind of in the name. So the whole name is, we want to make an impact on the Philippines. I
Right.
was a part of another conference before, and it was kind of like, let's bring all these guys in and let's pretty much, it's kind of like just talk about one specific thing. And what I really wanted to do is really highlight Filipinos and the fact that the Filipinos are the ones that do a lot of the work. Like when I moved
Yeah.
here, I didn't even know what's a BPO. I never heard of that term. Like you run a BPO. I didn't know what a VA was. I
Uh-huh.
knew what Fiverr and Legit and Upwork and places like that was, because that's where I was trying to find work at. But I didn't know as a virtual assistant. I never heard of that term until after COVID, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
COVID really like changed everything for us. Um, I think it changed a lot for everybody, but to make an impact on the Philippines, Bumble Marcus, he talks about that too. He's like, he wants to digitize the Philippines. So essentially, we want to help, if you will, digitize the Philippines. And if you will, how can you take a side hustle or something that maybe you're passionate about, or you think you could make some money at and do it, or
Hmm.
maybe you don't even know. You don't even have
Right.
a clue that you can actually earn
Yeah. Hmm.
very good money working online. Most people think probably you're a scammer if you work online, etc. But the fact is, no, you're not a scammer just because you work online. There are plenty of people that hire legitimate work um, online and stuff. So we want to really highlight that. That's why we started, this is to make an impact. And I told my own team, and I know as John does, if you watch his social media, it's like he's making an impact, not just financially, not just materialistically, because a lot of people get caught up in, if you will, I got the bling bling, and I
Absolutely.
got the car, and I got
Yeah.
the cash, and all that. And
Wrong focus.
yeah, that is not what it's about for me. It's like I told him, so what I want to build, do big one for me is I actually want to build do an orphanage. Eventually, I want to
Nice.
do an
I love that.
orphanage, and why? Because then you can affect your community. So when we are working with our team, like if you watch John with his team, he's mentoring them, he's coaching them. Why? Because it then affects not just them, but they're also a husband, they're also a daughter, they're also a
Yeah.
mother, they're also a wife, they're also all these things that affects a lot more people than you think. A lot of people are watching you don't even know. And so that's what it's about, is making an impact.
That's
Um,
what an impact really is about. It's about empowering others, making their lives more, I mean, even better because of you. You were there to coach them, to guide them, to mentor them. That's real impact. Because if you just impact yourself, just a couple of few people within your circle, no, you gotta be looking for more people. You got to be an influencer in the real definition of the term.
yeah,
Not on TikTok dancing and whatnot. I mean, that's not really the real definition of an influencer. An influencer to me is someone who can uh, empower, someone who can make their lives even better. And in return, they can also influence others. That's a true measurement of a leader, depending on the number of people that you bring or tag along with you. I remember this line. A lot of people use this and they say, it's lonely at the top. In leadership, people say it's lonely at the top. And I heard John Maxwell saying this, and I kind of squirmed a little bit. And he said, the one who said that it's lonely at the top is not really a leader. Because if you're a true leader, you bring people with you at the top. So it's never lonely at the top because you've got people, you're holding yourself accountable to those people that you're mentoring in the same way they're also holding themselves
mm,
accountable to you. So, it's all about, building an ecosystem. This is what digital impact is all about. We thrive because we learn, we give, and we take, and then we create, we collaborate, we make businesses, key them in together so that we can make this city, this place, this earth a better one. So that's what leadership is all about. That's what digital impact, specifically Philippines, is all about. And you said it right. We're gonna bring it in Cebu this coming December. Why Cebu, you say? Because Cebu is known for its for its dynamic, resilient, and creative people. No, Cebu is also known for its bridges, and I say, Cebu is some sort of a bridge that connects cultures. There's also some sort of a bridge that connects. I would say it connects history and the future and tradition, and then the ability to innovate in the Philippines and the wider world. Also, Cebu comes to me as a link, because we're linking communities, we're bringing people together. This is like a hub for trade and businesses, right, William? So
yep,
we're going here because we are known as the BPO hub of the country. A lot of a lot of people are already starting BPO companies here and there, even owned by locals, even owned by Filipinos, no longer foreigners. Because Cebuanos are very creative and they thrive and they can compete in a global scale. So that's why we're bringing them here.
awesome. Yeah, so I actually always try to put acronyms to everything because it helps me memorize things. So, like, impact is having the right intention and having the right mindset with the right purpose, taking the right action consistently, which will bring transformation.
I love that.
You'll make the impact if, number
I
one,
love
you
that.
have the right intention. If you start with
Intention.
the
Yeah.
right intention, even if you go through trials, it doesn't matter because you had the right intention, and God looks at your intention. But then you
Yeah.
need the right mindset, because the war, if you will, starts in here. You know, what your thoughts are, what, if you will, the enemy puts in your head, what your own thoughts come in your head, or what you're listening to, what you're reading, what you're around affects you. And then what's your purpose in life? Is it all about me, or is it a higher calling? Because you're never going to do anything big in life unless it's bigger than yourself, and then taking action, but it has to be consistent, that is congruent.
Yeah.
And then that will bring transformation, and that's what we want to bring to the Philippines. Because, like, my wife, as and John knows this, was an OFW, overseas Filipino worker. So for me, when I met John, I knew what an OFW was, but I would never understood the concept. Like, why? Because I'm, from the States. It's like, why would someone leave their country, their kids, their family, everything they know, and go live in a foreign country to work? And it's like, especially now that it's for, let's say, $500 and maybe $600, and they'll then take that money, send it back over here through remittance, and then they'll get loans and quote unquote get condos or get properties if they can, or just take care of their
Mhm.
family. But imagine if you could take a side hustle or start working online and make even more money, So where we have, for example, you can get into
Mm.
sales, you can get into marketing, you can get into social media, make anywhere from 50 to $100,000, 100,000 peso a month. And you could definitely live a lot better. I mean, if, let's say, 100,000 may not seem like much if you're in Manila, but if you're in the province, you can live like a king. In Manila and Cebu, I still think you probably need closer to probably 75-ish or something, maybe. I don't know, because I'm not from there, but probably. Hello,
Sounds
Gabe.
about right.
I've been to Manila. I've been to Baguio. I've been to what's that, Dumaguete, which is right
Yes.
there. So, but hello, Gab. Appreciate you, brother. And hey, Sir Alvin. Guys saying hello and stuff. But
Hello, everybody. Hello, hello.
Love says that's a true leader. And Alvin, hey Alvin, appreciate you, brother. And Sir John. But yeah, I mean, one person before, he said, I remember talking about white label SEO, and he said, why do all these foreign companies or
Uh huh.
foreigners
Uh huh.
try to start agencies and try to get clients in the States when they're never going to be as good as someone in the States?
That's
And the guy told me, the guy, and he's a big wig guy.
yeah.
I'm not dropping names, but he goes, for example, he goes, I've mentored people, and I can tell you they just can't, maybe one out of a million. And I told him, my reply was simply, that says more about you as a mentor than it does them as the mentees or the person
Yeah.
you're trying to coach.
Right.
Because I can tell you that people I've mentored could run agencies, could, handle running an agency or a BPO, and could get as many jobs as you get and make just as much money as you make, except they live in the Philippines. It doesn't matter that you live in the Philippines. So, and kind of pivots into, how did you get started into, if you could, into BPO, John? I mean, how did you get
Mm.
started? It wasn't like, did
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
you naturally, is this something you got, came out of school, you chose not to be a nurse, and instead of being a nurse, you said, I'll just go be a BPO, or was it like that?
Yeah, no, of course not. Well, to those who have attended the conference in Surigao, they pretty much know a little bit about my story. That I am an undergrad, never finished college, just first year in college, and just finished first sem. Cut the story short, I was given another chance, another crack at life, and I was able to find a find myself working at a call center, and I thrived at a sales company or a self-publishing company called Author Solutions or Exlibris back then. And little did I know I was gifted at sales. So I started from the bottom, climbed my way up to the ranks from being an employee to a team leader, senior team leader, manager, assistant manager. Assistant director to director of sales. Until, again, cut the story short, I moved to another company with my mentor at that time. His name was Paul Winters. He said, John, let's work together for a virtual assistant company owned by an Australian guy that was Blue Ocean BPO. I worked there as a business development manager, and then also I got promoted to operations manager until ultimately, I would say, unfortunately, the company declared bankruptcy. So we were left with no jobs. I was scouring for, we were panicking basically. So then I got employed at a self publishing company as a chief operations officer at that company. The stint was cut short. I just worked there for like less than 6 months. And then that was the time when I decided to, okay, I think I'm ready to start my own business. And I was very arrogant at that time. I was falsely thinking that
I could never, ever, 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 ever see you as arrogant. So
I just had
I
to
just
say
can't
that.
even believe it. It's like you're probably the most gentle soul I've probably ever met.
Years
You
ago,
hear that?
far
You
from
hear
it.
that, baby? Rowena, he says he was years ago. He was arrogant.
Not the type, not the John Cena that you know now.
Yeah.
I mean, all by God's grace, he changed me. He converted me into someone. He gave me a new life. The old John is gone. The new John is here now. So let me share with you the mistake that I've done. I thought it was easy because I can sell even in my sleep. So I hired like 20 salespeople instantly. I was thinking, yeah, I'll train them, I'll develop them, I'll start my company. So I found a place that could accommodate around 20, 25 seats, and we started doing business. But here's one of the greatest miracles that happened to me. Not one of us, including myself, could close a single deal. For some reason, we would say, what is going on? For 6 months, we've got zero sales. Where in fact, in the previous companies that I've been working with, I can easily close $100,000 a month just like that. 100, 150 US dollars deals. For some reason, I cannot. So I thought, okay, someone of a higher degree, God could have very well prevented us from closing a deal. Now, little did I know that He was leading us to a different direction. Cut the story short. The people left because I can no longer afford to pay them. But I have to say that, now all's good. I was able to give them their back pays. I mean, technically now, okay, I don't want you guys to think, oh, you owe these people some. No, we've settled that already. But we started from having 20 people. We started to have just four, a very humble beginning. And this time we started, kudos to my guys. I couldn't help but be emotional when I talk to them, talk about this. We don't have the money to buy tables and chairs, so we built our own. They were sawing all night, hammering, just to make sure that we have a table to use. We loaned some cash just so we can buy computer sets, and we lived in a condo. Um, this condo is just a small condo, 2 rooms. Okay, one room for the employee to work, the other room for me and my wife to sleep. And then we take turns with the chores at that place. And little by little, our clientele grew. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to tell you how I grew my clientele, not now, but during the digital impact gathering this coming December 6th, 7th, and 8th. So guys, you do not want to miss this, because you'll get very practical tips on how to start your business. Sometimes people will think, well, they're already defeated in their mind. They say, I really can't do it. I'm not as good as them, and I'm not as good as William, not as good as John. Guys, you can, as long as you're willing to and you're dedicated. Attend these conferences and you'll come out a changed person, because you'll have this renewed mindset that, hey, you can do it. If others are able to, you can. William, let me share this. I think, the real reason why Filipinos are so afraid to try something new, it's the fear. Okay. It's not really the fear of failure, William. I think it's the fear. They're so afraid that if they fail, what will their family members think of them? What will their friends think of them?
Very true.
They're so afraid of the reputation more than trying to do it. And You know, they're afraid of how people will see them. Look, drop that, cut that. In this
I've actually
life,
said that. I've said that before. Is like, quite honestly, most people are
yeah,
not scared of failure. They're scared of success, because when you're successful, sometimes they're scared of either being successful or they're scared of failing. And it's going to be
there
one
you
of the
go.
two. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I totally agree with that.
And the driving factor is really because, again, sad to say, Filipinos, we have this crab mentality, let's fail together. Um, Misery loves company. And if you fail, some people will celebrate. And that's why Filipinos are afraid to pull the trigger, they're afraid to try.
Yeah, I mean, a
Eliminating
lot
that mindset,
people
it's a game
people are
changer.
naturally social beings and need love and need affection. And then a lot of times what happens is they let that then affect their decisions
Oh, yeah.
as to whether or not they're going to do something, because they want that attention, if you will, they want that approval, or they don't want to hurt someone's feelings, or they don't want to disappoint somebody. Therefore, because of that, they just choose not to do certain things, and then it
Yeah.
limits them, and they wind up living a smaller life. When I tell it's like, not only is it your duty to be successful, and it's not only your job, it's what God has blessed you with. It's not, it's something that you were created for. It's not
Right.
just to be this, just barely make it by, and if you will, struggle through life and always have issues and always have this going on. It's like, how can you get past that? So, kind of brings us to the next thing, because we're talking about, I know you're not going to really dive too much into it because you got your first clients and stuff, but a lot of people is like, okay, it's all fine and dandy to talk about, working online. It's all fine and dandy talking about how I can earn a couple of 100,000 pesos. But okay, John, you're the white dude. They're not going to listen to me. They're not. Most part, they're going to go, he's white, so he's got advantages. All right. But if you're Filipino, how do you go about getting a client in the United States or Australia or the
Uh-huh.
UK without having, you know, being from the United States, which is crazy for me too, because I was from the States and I struggled to get clients, struggled
I know it's not
in the
easy.
United States. I struggled. Then come over here and it's totally different. So how do you go about? I mean, just drop a couple of tips or something. You ain't got to
Sure.
go into it too deep. So
First thing I would say, develop that confidence to approach or to even go out there. Um, During our time before, it was like purely cold calling. We had no funds to invest in marketing. Develop the courage and the confidence to say, "Hey, I can do it for you. I can pull it through. I may not have the skills to do it, but I can hire people to deliver and complete the tasks for you." Number two, work with integrity. I mean, it can be shown, it can be obvious with the way you communicate with them. Scammers would easily reveal themselves because they give false promises with their highfalutin words and sugar coated, results per se. But if you come to them directly and say, "Hey, okay, this is what I'm going to do. These are the expectations, and this is the time frame." And as a business partners, or as we're working on this relationship, this working relationship, will have touch bases maybe once a week or twice a week. It depends on your agreement with the client. And then number three, make sure that you go out there and especially when you come up with a team, be selective. You just don't welcome anyone who wants to work with you. Funny thing, because I think 2 weeks ago someone approached me and said, "John," yeah, she had a question, and she said, "This lady, I met her at the Surigao conference, so we had this 1 hour coaching per se, or mentorship 1 hour session with her." So, "John, what are we gonna do if someone like a relative of mine wanted to work for me?" And I said, "No, no, no, wait, listen. If that person has no skills, just because that person is a relative, you don't take them in. You take people in because you know that they're
yeah,
able and capable to deliver, not because, hey, the typical Filipino mentality again. we're very
Well, it's
helpful
kind
to
of
our.
like, and I think there's some kind of saying in the Philippines where you give a Filipino a hamburger and they're going to ask you where the Coke and fries are.
True.
I've
And
heard that before.
they would jokingly say, they would jokingly cough and say, Coke.
Yeah, it's like, because, and it's why
Coke.
someone said, it's like, why do most Filipinos that seem like they've made it or are successful, why does
Uh-huh.
it seem like they don't want to help their fellow Filipino? And they gave me that quote. It was like, because you'll find out soon enough. The more you do it, this is what happens. And it becomes
Yeah.
almost like an expectation, like, oh, you are family and you're supposed to help me and you're supposed to not just help me,
True.
you're supposed to give me money, so, and that's definitely not the way Americans are. We're not, not just because you're family. We're not doing it just because of that, so, but yeah, so as
That
far as,
is something that we wanted to really disrupt. That's something that we wanted to not continue. Filipino traditions, some of them are good, but some are just horrible.
yeah,
Bad.
like the ones I'm aware you do the blessing when an elder comes in. Different things I like, but there are things
Yeah, I like
like,
that. Yeah, when you bless, yeah,
there are
money
things
go.
like where your family's always saying, "Hey, can you pay for your sister's, college or this and this and this?" And you're not the mom and dad, and you're like, "I'm just, hey, I just have a small job or I'm an OFW or whatever," and they're expecting you because you're the older sibling to take care of them. That's not your job. You're not the parents. That's all,
Mm,
So
that's
I
right.
definitely think that's one of the things that needs to be broken off of Filipinos. Um, so it's definitely, and it's like, I've had people, like most foreign men will think, for example, they'll talk about, it's like, oh, is your wife ever asking for money for your family? My wife never asked for money for my family, ever. And my family never asked for money. So I've been blessed in
Mm,
that sense. I've not had that
yeah.
happen. But I will willingly see something or go buy something or do stuff for them. So that we do as well. Um, she says this, Wing says, love with integrity. Love this, Sir John. Love it. Always work with integrity. Correct.
Love that. Yes, exactly. I can preach that all day long. Integrity. Yes, because that's what's missing right now. A lot of people, even when I started this new company, when I partnered with this guy, his name's James Real. He approached me at like around February of this year, and then we collaborated. We started this on self publishing company called Viral Book Nation right here. The reason why we stepped out is because a lot of Cebuanos are scamming authors. They work without integrity. They call, make deals, change their numbers, change locations. I mean, there's even one company that went viral from IT Park Cebu because they scammed people. And while these scammers are hiding, James and I, we went out and we started this company called Viral Book Nation. We
Hmm.
help authors get their books published. So if you are thinking of publishing a book, don't hesitate to reach out to me and my partner, James Real, or go to our website, www.viralbooknation.com. You'll see there are packages, a lot of successful author stories. We can definitely help you get your book published. And we take care of not just nationwide, but worldwide distribution, my friends. We distribute your book to anywhere in the world. We can give you a paperback version, hardback, a special cover, electronic, audio, and some of our services also. Check our website out because if you are um, planning to be one, to be a self-published author, Viral Book Nation is the place to go. All right. So yeah, it's all about working with integrity. A lot of scammers are out there, but we wanted to disrupt the industry of self-publishing. We wanted to make our names. We're bringing the Philippines here as one. We want people to think, okay, Filipinos are trying to work, are slowly, little by little, working with integrity, and we want to be the first one to do that. You know.
Correct. And it's like my wife just said, it's like, it's fine to help people. Like I even tell my sales team and tell them, say, for example, y'all are new at having money or making good money. but just understand you don't have to. You're not obligated to help everybody. So it's
Oh
fine
yeah.
to do it once in a while, but don't be Santa Claus, because then otherwise people will start expecting you to be Santa Claus for them
And
and
the moment
solve
you
their
stop to
problem.
help them, you're the bad guy. You help them once, you help them twice, and the moment you stop, they'll remember that time that you didn't help them, and they'll
Correct.
say, "You've changed, and you're not the person that we know. And how could you do this to us? How could you leave us?" See,
If you really want to
it's
help
just
people
funny.
and you really want to make an impact on them, show them how to do what you do. You
Exactly.
know,
Yeah.
instead of
Exactly.
just giving them a hand out, give them a hand up.
Exactly. Give
That's
them a fish and they'll eat for a day. Teach them how to fish and they'll eat for a lifetime. Remember that.
correct. So,
So
um,
this is what digital impact is really all about. If you guys had no clue that there's business online, if you guys have no idea that you can really thrive in this digital industry, in this digital transformative age, join. Don't miss this event. It's worth every penny. Okay.
yeah. And so he's a BPO, whereas me and my wife, we run Rank Fortress, and we have virtual assistant services, manage virtual assistant services, which is different. Is where we actually manage and train them. We take care of the payroll and SSS and all that stuff. And then we
Yeah.
also have Rank Fortress, which is straight up web development and search engine optimization. So it's not like we're a BPO. We don't do outbound calls. We mainly do web design, SEO, social media management, that sort of thing, lead gen, that sort of thing. So I have people all the time ask us about that. I'm like, nope, not doing it. Totally different setup, So you need to get someone from Cebu or Manila. They're going to cost you more, but they're going to be fluent in English and they can handle it. They know how. They have the mindset many times for it. So has AI, because everybody asks this all the time, I'm going to go ahead and ask it, has AI really affected, because a lot of people say, well, I'm not going to get into industry because AI is affecting and taking jobs. So I'm not going to become a digital nomad. I'm not going to get into the digital marketing. I'm not going to start doing any of that because it's just going to take it away anyway. So why bother? Has it affected your BPO?
Not at all, really. Because what we did was we didn't shy away from using AI. We embraced AI, not as a threat, but as a really productive partner. It makes the job easier. You know, so this is also something that we need not just Cebuanos but Filipinos to understand that um, you know, transformation requires you to trust. You got to lean in. You got to trust a little bit. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. The way I see it, William, is this: I'm not afraid of AI because I believe in a super big God who loves me and who's taking good care of me and my people and my companies. That's how I see it. So I'm not afraid to embrace change and partner with AI so that we can even thrive together and deliver better quality services. So AI is not going to be an enemy. I would say it will accentuate the beauty of BPO services, the beauty of VA services.
Hmm.
Those who are on Fiverr, um, you know, um, virtual assistant, what you call that, those working at home, freelancers, I would say, they have to embrace AI and make that as their partner. So
Yeah, so AI, even if you're using AI, ChatGPT, any of the other AI programs, you will still need an engineer. You still need a human operator.
true.
So
Yeah,
it's never going to replace you unless you suck to begin with.
yeah,
That's what I tell them. Is like if you suck to begin with, it will replace you.
that's true.
It makes it a lot easier for me to do. For example, when I first started doing short form content, you had to
Mm,
record the videos, give them to a video editor. They have to do it take them hours to do it. Right now, I can take and do long form content like we're doing here, and after I'm done, it's going to literally chop this video up into at least 5 to 6 different videos. And you take that and you can repurpose it.
exactly.
It makes you more effective and it increases your output. That's what it should do. If it's doing anything but that, and you're scared that it's going to replace you, you probably need to level up or scale up your skills
Yeah.
and get around people. Go follow John, for example. Just get around him.
Yeah.
Get around people. We do Rank Fortress Academy as well. Rank Fortress Academy, we teach everybody local SEO, national SEO, web design, all
Mm.
the things we do in our agency. And then we'll also have guest speakers come in and teach as well. So, but what's some things you think people can expect out of the conference we're going to have there at the waterfront? Why would they? Why
Uh,
should they come? If because you're used to Cebu, you got loads of foreigners and Filipinos there. So why should I come to Digital Impact?
it's more on not just education, although it's number one. We need to educate more Filipinos. We need to educate more Cebuanos that they can actually they can thrive. We want to encourage more digital startups to solve more Cebuano or Filipino problems. Like there's a lot of avenues, like in the agriculture department, in the education, in the health and transportation. If they can solve these things, a business starts with a problem. Once you have thought about a solution to that problem, then you can start a company. So, why is digital impact important? It's important because if they don't attend this, they're missing a whole lot. They're missing probably probably a good future. I would say dito nakasalala yung kinabukasan niyo for 2026 onwards. Because if you're just afraid, you're hesitating, I'd say I can't, I don't want to attend because I just can't. Then save up for it. If you really want it, you're gonna do it. All right. You don't want to miss this because we got super talented speakers from different parts of the globe, from Singapore, from US, from Australia, from Canada, of course, from the Philippines too, and they are bringing with them a lot of information. That's number one. Second, that they can expect is action plan. There are two types of people in this world: those who listen in there and say, "Okay, I love everything that I heard," but if you become an attendee of Digital Impact, you've got to be someone who does things for the future of your family. You got to take action. We've already laid out all the possible solutions for you. And at the end of the sessions of those 3-day conference, if you still say, I'm still gonna go back to my old ways. I'm not gonna master myself. I'm not gonna be reflecting on the man on the mirror. But no, drop that type of mindset and do something for your sake, for your future's sake, for your kids' sake. You got mouths to feed, do something about it. And when you attend Digital Impact, not only are you gaining education, not only are you informed, but we will encourage you, we'll push you to really take action and consider starting your business. Go out there, be a freelancer, go out there and conquer the world because you have what it takes. Filipinos are super talented. We're resilient, we're energetic, we're creative, we have what it takes to conquer your dream. So that's why you wanted to attend. You don't want to miss that. Surigao is done. Now Cebuanos, it's our turn. It's our time to shine. Kita-kita ta sa waterfront this coming December 6, 7, and 8. I want to see you there.
And I think it's because a lot of people ask the same question. My wife's mentioned it. So a lot of people think I already have to be in digital marketing to get involved.
You
And the
don't
answer
have
is
to.
absolutely
No.
not. You could
Yeah.
not have any skills whatsoever, come anyways. If you're interested, how can I make money online? If I'm interested in how to become a virtual assistant, if I'm interested in finding someone maybe to be a virtual assistant for or to work for, it's good for anybody, startups, to launch
Yeah.
a career. It's like the launching pad so you can learn and then, if you will, grow your career, grow your online business.
Yes. 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 Exactly.
A lot of times most people go to conferences. The money is actually not, I hate to say it this way, but the money is not in the conference, it's in the networking. The money is actually usually
Exactly.
with the events and the people you're going to meet there, and go up to people and talk to them, say hi to them, shake hands, get their business card, maybe find out who they are online, follow them online. And then a lot of times that's what how it happens. That's how it
You
happens.
can very well find your next client in that conference. You can very well find your next business partner in that conference because those people think you're on the same wavelength. You know, learning is really important. So we will teach you to learn digital skills like, digital marketing, e-commerce, creating emails that work. So it's more on teaching you on how to thrive in this digital era.
And it's kind of like you got to put yourself out there. You can't just, hide and expect money to come to you. If all you're doing is hiding, money is never going to come to you. So, um,
Right.
wealth doesn't start in your wallet; it starts in your mindset. If you don't get out there, put yourself out there, then it's not going to happen for you. The
Right.
problem is most people do not prioritize the things that are important, and it has nothing to do with a lack of time. It has to do with you not prioritizing it, which is your true enemy. And it's what
Right.
really is holding most people back is just not putting certain things that should be first. They put other things first that should not even be on a list.
True.
Um, and then my wife says, of course, you hear a bunch of ideas and skills from our speakers. So, and our speakers, for example, they're not all going to be, this is a difference. For example, they're going to be in SEO. They're going to be
Yes.
VAs. They're going to be people that
Hmm.
do social media management. They're going to be people that do invest in other businesses and companies. They're going to be
Yeah.
people that are in crypto. They're in all over. It's not just a matter of, oh, they
HR.
only do,
Yeah.
HR, team building,
Sales.
because the big one that makes most businesses, I'll mention this, why do most businesses fail? It actually usually is because, of self-development mindset and the fact that they're not a good leader to begin with. They haven't gotten to
Hmm.
the point. Don't have
Nailed
the
it.
character, and then they fail because they're not, they just, like, for example, we usually have people come to us, and John knows, he's like, I want an A+ VA, and they always want an A+ VA. I want the best of the best. And my thing is always, so are you the best husband all the time? Are you the best employer all the time? Are you the best dad all the time? And if you say yes, you are either a liar or disillusioned, but yet they expect, a lot of clients expect their staff, their VAs, their employees to be that. And you don't even know what it means to coach and mentor your own team. And you think you're a
Exactly.
leader. You're not, you know?
Yeah.
So,
You're just setting them up to fail. Yeah.
yeah. And that's not good. Invest in yourself. This is one of the best investments. Conferences, going out there, meeting people. If I had said no to certain things, I would not have mentors I have now. I would not rub shoulders with the people I have now. I would not be in industries I'm in now. There's so many things that, like I have a call tonight, for example, where the guy's probably he has about 500, if you will, clients. Okay. I've
Wow.
known him from someone else who introduced me to him. And it just happens through networking and putting yourself out there and not being scared. And it's like a lot of times it's like, I'm scared and do it anyways. Stop worrying
Yes.
about, I don't want to go up to this person and I don't want to talk to this person. John doesn't want nothing to do with me. William don't want nothing to do with me. These people are just white dudes from all over the world. I have nothing in common with them. Always do that. You can either earn your way in, work your way in, or buy your way in.
Yes.
Working your way in is, you never ask for someone that's at a level that you're not. They'll tell you is like, you never ask for something from them, but what can I do for you? It's
Hmm.
like, if you learn to serve people, you'll never have to, if you will, go without, because eventually what happens is God starts opening up doors for you because you're serving other people instead of being self-interested all the time. And then
Right.
that's earning your way in or working your way in. And then buying your way in is just straight up, buying your way in. My wife says she's proud of me and John, or William and
Thank
John.
you.
Thank you, baby. But yeah, John's my
Thank you, Wayne.
boss. Everybody's like, this is my boss. This is the guy that got me started. When I first came here, and if you haven't read the story, you can go read the story on my timeline. I'm actually going to be doing a video probably tomorrow about who is William Jones, because I have a lot of people asking that maybe never if you will, seen the story. But if you go to my timeline, this
Uh,
is the story, and it's the whole thing here. It doesn't have all the details, but it tells you basically how we came here. We went to the laundry shop and everything else and all this stuff, our old house. That's me with my big long beard, and I used to cut hair and everything else. And I'm not your typical white dude that came over here with money and all that stuff. And then I meet this guy named John, and I remember talking to him, and I said, "Have you ever been to the United States?" Because he talks without a if you will, in my opinion, he talks using, if you will, straight English, and he uses slang English, and it's not
no.
like I can't hear him on the phone and think this guy's Filipino. I was like, sounds American, and his
He
name
got
is
fooled.
John. Yeah, and then I thought, no, I've never even been to the United
Yeah,
States.
never stepped out of the country.
Never even been out of the country, and then here we are, and that was like 6 years ago, 5 6 years
That's true.
ago. It's been a while, and without him, even I tell the team at work, so imagine no rank fortress, no jobs, none of this other stuff. This was you need to learn that there are things that you may say or do that makes a bigger impact than you know of, and he speaks native English. I don't use that term. My wife uses native English.
Yeah.
We don't have that term. You speak American English or British English. So, um, but yeah, I'm thankful I met John. He is someone I look up to, and if you don't follow him, go follow him on Facebook as well. He posts things about not just, if you will, business and mindset. He also posts as well about God and his faith
On
and
what truly
seminars he
matters.
goes
Yes.
to.
Yes.
And he's not one of these guys, I would say, and maybe hopefully this won't offend him, but he is not one of those guys that you'd think is a Bible thumper like we call him in the United States, but he will find a way to talk to you about God, that's for sure.
Yes.
But it's not in a way that is abrasive, and it's not in a way that's going to make you feel like generally it's like I'm a sinner and I'm going straight to hell when I talk to this guy. It's usually, God's love and grace, and
Yes.
he helps you like this
Yes.
conversations that create an impact where worlds inspire action. He talks about conversations and always gives you things like this. Let your words build
Ah,
others up that they may benefit those who listen. And so I
thank you,
look at
brother.
this stuff even as a Muslim, and I go, it inspires me. And you see his team, and you see other things, and things that he's always constantly doing. It's not just what he's doing, but he's making an impact. And I thank you, Geb and John, too, because Geb was out here with John at this event they went to
Yeah,
really
that's
push
right.
it.
Business matching. Yes.
Yeah. And I am actually going to be in Cebu
Yes. Speaking of,
this
yes.
weekend too, or I'll be there Sunday or Monday, and my
Okay.
plan is then why I'm going to get there early so we can talk about this too. I want to get there
Yes.
early because I've been wanting to go see your office, and
Yes.
I want to
Exactly.
do a
Yes.
podcast while I'm at your office.
Let's go. Let's do that.
And so we'll do a podcast together there. And then, of course, I want to do like an office tour because I hear about the office, I hear about the team. And I've even,
Yeah.
what's funny is John used to even outsource some SEO and stuff to me. Even I used to always
Yes.
ask him, why are you outsourcing SEO to me? You do SEO. And he will always, he always finds a way to get connected with you. But then I also have, some other old, if you will, partners and stuff, or people I've worked with out there. Geb's out there, Steven out there, and then from Echelon SEO, I want to go meet them up.
They're
And
from Cebu too. Yes, correct.
yeah, because
Yeah.
when he first started, he started with, I believe, about 5 or 6 people, and now he's up to, I think, 20 or 30, something like that. But he's really growing, and so I'm going to spend some time there, but I'll be there at least till Wednesday. Then my daughter, I'm going to fly back because it's her birthday. But I will be there for at least, a few days or so. So if you guys are out there, if you hit me up on Facebook, maybe we'll do a meetup or something. But overall, I'm going to be there because we got to meet with some potential sponsors and go see the place and some other things together with John, and
Yes.
do a podcast together while we're there. So Can't wait to see you
Super
guys.
excited.
See the
Super
office
excited.
and
Yes,
stuff. I'm
yes.
gonna be bringing. And then my wife's giving me, he's like, bring it, bring this digi Osmo or whatever with me and stuff. She's not coming with me because she would have to leave my daughter here. And with the helper or with Daisy, I don't like calling them helpers, but Daisy, because she's a part of our family. We look at her as family. And then once again, as always, before I get off, I just want to say thank you, Rank Fortress. Thank you for our team. Um, so, and thank you for John. Like my wife says, he's always supporting businesses. That is John. He came up,
Yeah, yeah,
just for example, he not asked me. He also does insurance. He does all
yeah.
types of things. He came over to Surrey Gal City. He sat down with all my team and we talked about insurance. He talked about investing in yourself.
Yes,
So he's
exactly.
always
In
trying
your
to help
future
other
too.
people.
Yeah.
It's not about
Oh,
me, me,
you
me, me.
remember Benneth? Yeah,
Yeah,
Benneth
Bennett, great.
Dean. Yeah. Just about, I think 3 days ago, I gave her business too, because she's into building websites, and I said, look, okay, let's give her this business. So my business partner and I, James, with Viral Book Nation, we had them come up with a mock draft of a website, and we loved it. That's what we're all about. We're about collaborating, doing business together, and most importantly, helping them to get their footing, so that ultimately they'll be confident, and that their project with ours is already a part of their portfolio because we approved it. So guys, that's the deal. That's the name of the game. It's helping others to survive and to thrive. That's what an ecosystem is all about. So thank you, William, for the nice and kind words. I truly appreciate that.
Thank you guys. If you guys don't know about it, so go to Digital Impact Philippines and you can buy your tickets. But if you're interested in becoming a sponsor, just click on sponsor inquiry, fill that out, and we will get to you. If you're interested in becoming a delegate, you can also fill that out, or a brand partner. And this is all the details. If you go to About Us, you get to the attendees. You can see, what you're going to learn there. You're going to learn about enhancing your expertise. Last one, we had Sir MJ Lopez there as well. This is some of his team. This is actually my operations manager, Lynn. Some of the speakers, you got Geb up here, Chris Ruffles, but we had a couple of hundred people there. And besides that, our speakers last time, of course, Sir MJ, myself, of course, Sir John, Jason Isidre, Genesis, John, Carlo, Bennett. She's an amazing speaker, fiery speaker. I really love hearing her speak. Chris Rolfels, Ferville, Gabe, Geb, Ma'am, Angel or Angelica, Michaela, and the Dean, Joshua, and Lynn, and Erica. But this time, so far, we're having Sir John. Okay, he's going to be speaking about, he's the CEO of business. He's going to be leading with impact.
Yes.
He talks about building, not just building a team, but building a team with culture.
Yes.
And there's a big difference between having staff and having a place of culture. And that has been a game changer for us at Rank Fortress, actually having the culture. And then, of course, I'll be speaking. And then Geb will be speaking. Then we got Kevin. He's coming from, I believe, Thailand.
Kevin. Yes, Thailand.
He stays over in Thailand quite a bit. Maricel Amores.
From Cebu.
She's from Cebu. Chris Walker. He's the CEO of Legit. He specializes.
We'll meet Maricela Morris this coming Wednesday too.
Awesome.
We'll meet her. And Althea Bateson. We'll meet her too.
The biggest thing is that these events, you're going to be able to collaborate and help each other. There's no such thing as competition. If you're thinking about competition, then you're in the wrong mindset to begin with. Like, why would I bring someone that does SEO? He does basically white label SEO. Why would I bring him here? No, there's millions and millions of business out there. So don't even think about that. John Martinez, he's a good friend of mine. He's also
real estate.
He does real estate. So he's the founder of the #1 real estate company in the Philippines. They're at like, I don't know, they're real close to $1 billion. I'll put it that way in sales. They're doing really good. But real estate sales mastery, sales leadership, and team building. Georgia Tan, she's been one of our speakers before, and she is the co-founder and head of search at Switch, and she talks about search engine optimization and backlinks. And then Ravi Sharma, He's an SEO, agency growth, business to business, lead generation, and sales. So once again, it's not just about SEO digital marketing. You got to know how to sell and how to create leads, and then how to manage teams. Even if it's remote, you need to know how to build a culture. Brenton
Yes.
Jacobs is a friend of mine. He's coming from the United States, and he's going to teach him about Facebook ads and SEO. Then we got Jarmy, and she's the chief operating officer at Nimble Staffing. So they do, if you will, staffing solutions for digital future. So staffing solutions is kind of like a BPO, I'd say. Kind of like what I do, but I'm not necessarily a BPO. Then Dr. Burrell Nisson, talking about marketing and using AI and automation. So everybody's always asking about automation. Chris Rolfels, he started as a BPO guy and now he runs his own agency. So how can you position yourself to step into freelancing? Once again, like I said, even if you don't have any experience, you should come. That's why, because you're going to learn from people like this. Russell Lobo
Exactly.
is a friend of mine. He's a CEO of WH Links, advanced, if you will, generative engine optimization, or AI SEO, as they've been calling it. And Paul, he's a good friend of mine too. And excuse me, Paul, he's the CEO of PJ Entrepreneur. He's been all over the world. He's helped people make millions of dollars. And he's someone that just is like a connector. He knows, if I don't know him or John don't know him, he probably does know him. But I can guarantee he either knows them or he's forgot about them. And then I got my good friend Ryan down here. He's the
Yes.
CEO and founder
Singapore.
of Toffee Dev. Yep. And he's from where was it? Now that I gotta say it, I'm gonna forget. But Bali. So I went down to Bali,
Oh
India,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
to be
Okay.
with him for a conference before. And he invited me to speak there. He's gonna come to our conferences. But this is in-person access. If you ever want to get a ticket for in-person, early bird tickets cheaper. Obviously, that's what you want to do. VIP early bird, and obviously VIP early bird. You're going to get some different things compared to regular. All right. Goodie bags, t-shirts, front row priority, VIP, events and things of that nature. Maybe you're not in Cebu. Maybe you're one of the provinces and you couldn't come. We didn't do this in
No
Surigao.
worries.
We didn't
Yes.
do this in Surigao, but we're going to do this in Cebu. We're going to have a digital pass. So there's no excuses as to why you cannot at least get into the main event and hear what the speakers got to say. Of course, this is not going to be the same as networking and handshaking and everything, but you will still get the certificate of attendance and you'll still get the recordings and everything else. And as always, want to always thank our past sponsors and our current sponsors as well. If you ever want to go look at the reviews, you can also go watch the reviews and everything and see what other people have had to say about it, as well as our speakers. And go through this whole website. Look at, we're also talking about, after Cebu, we're talking about maybe going to either Baguio or Davao, one of the two.
Wow. Amazing.
Probably going to hit up Baguio with Chris Rolfels, and then after that, Manila is the plan. Generally speaking, about every 3 months. So we're going to have great and amazing speakers from all over the world, and we're excited about it. I know my wife's excited about it, and just excited to finally meet a lot of the people in Cebu. Like I said, I have people there, but if you're interested in sponsoring the event or interested in getting involved, I don't care. Maybe you ain't got money and you can't sponsor, you ain't got a business. There's always ways to get involved and help make an impact on the community. And that's what this is about. It's not about
Correct.
me, or anybody of that nature. It's about helping the Philippines. Okay, so if you have
You
any
said it correctly.
questions, you feel free to message John or myself, or just go to the website. And you can always email us at support@digitalimpactphilippines.com, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. But we appreciate you guys. Thank you, John, so much for being on
Oh,
here.
my pleasure. Thank you.
And
Thank you,
we'll be
William. The
back
pleasure's
again
mine.
next week, probably around the
Next
same
week.
time.
Yes.
Gab is probably going to be coming in and doing some of these interviews as well. We're going to be interviewing some of the speakers, this way you get to know some of the speakers, the sponsors, and everything else. So excited to be there. I'm not, honestly, I can't wait to see you, John, but I am not excited to leave my wife. I'm not like the dude. I'm like MJ in an MJ. He's always go, 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 go. Right. I'm like, no, I want to take my wife with me all the time. So, but giving value and impact for our kabayan. So
Yes,
I will talk to
kabaya.
you guys soon, and I'm going to send you my flight information later tonight, John, too.
Yes,
So,
please. Yes.
but we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next week. Have a great day.
We'll see you next week. Thank you, brother. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
You
Thank
too.
you.